So here is the extruder during the heating process. And while it's heated, it starts to release a little bit of a filament, and this is logical, and this is a good thing, because if you didn't release this kind of filament, it could make some problems later on. So in the next printing, I'll try to build the Eiffel Tower. I've copy-pasted a 3D object from internet directly in the software and exported the Eiffel Tower, but I truly don't believe it would work. I'll test it, but I don't really believe in it. Because it seems that it is a very complex object, and it's highly possible that for a reason or another, these two highly complex objects will be fucked up in some way. Because especially when I consider the way it's built, there aren't any underlying objects to make it stable enough. The underlying layers are not there, you see, and it's highly possible that it will be fucked up in some way. I don't know exactly how, but it will probably happen. I will check it, but I cross my fingers, if you want to say it like that. So it is a 4 feet of the Eiffel Tower in France. I'm gonna see how it works, hoping it will give us a pretty result. Well, starts correctly. You see, when these are simple objects, like for example cubes or things like that, this printer has no problem at all. But this printer is able to make some real shit when it begins to deal with complex forms, and when the printer is coming back in a place where there is simply a solid material, and when the head hits something, the shit starts. I don't really know why. It's possible that there are some kind of objects that are printer friendly and some other objects are not printer friendly. It's a pure copy-paste from a 3D object from internet into the printer. I don't know if it works or not. Let's see. Well, here comes the point where the feet of the Eiffel Tower starts to raise. Oh, what happens? This is strange. The printer did something strange. We have some filament unexpectedly between the feet of the Eiffel Tower, this filament that didn't appear in the pre-visualization in the software. So this filament has nothing to do here. You see? That's what I was saying when I was talking about complex forms. The feet of the Eiffel Tower consisting lots and lots of small details, because it's basically a very complex architecture realized in a kind of a metal. But you can see that the printer here is doing something wrong, because the algorithm that prepares slices the objects and prepares the 3D printing has been lured by something. I couldn't say what it is, but you clearly see here that the printer makes a mistake during the interpretation of the slicing algorithm. Well, I should stop the printing now, because it's a mistake and it's not something good happening, but I will continue it until there is another mistake maybe, and see what happens. If it's only one just mistake, I'll probably be able to cut this filament. But it's possible that, since the Eiffel Tower is built on the same principle, we'll see this kind of filament in the next steps, in the next levels of the Eiffel Tower. Well, we clearly see here that the printer has some difficulties to build something that is complex like that, like the Eiffel Tower. The inner detail, the inner structure of the Eiffel Tower is too complex for the printer, and this is a kind of a mixture that probably won't. That will probably be fucked up in some way, because you see, the printer tries to reproduce the metallic structure with very subtle details, but maybe I had a problem of the definition in this case, because you see, maybe I should have printed it in high resolution, and as you can see, the printer decided to draw a line that doesn't exist in the 3D representation in the software, and not only one line but several lines. So this is really something that shows that the resolution of the printer has to be defined correctly. The more the object is filled with subtle differences and very fine, very low details, the more you get to define a fine resolution. But the problem with the high resolution is that it's a very long process during the software exportation of the printing file. So we've got to make a choice between the complexity and the speed of file exportation the speed of printing execution. There are Eiffel Towers that are not as detailed on the net, and if I want to print something with this kind of resolution, I should choose something more adapted to it. So this is a perfect example of printing in a mid-level resolution, a high level of complexity object. So everything must be adapted. For now, the algorithm that traces the movement of the printer is not really able to follow the complexity of the original object without doing mistakes. And here is the Eiffel Tower. So this Eiffel Tower looks good when we consider it from a far distance. You can perfectly recognize this well-known tower, but in fact this object is far from being perfect. We're going to check it closely under the light, and we're going to see that in fact this object has several imperfections. First of all, as we noticed it before, there have been things like this that have been built by the extruder, and we do not know why. It is not something that is displayed in the software, so I guess that these lines appeared after the slicing method and algorithm. We can recognize the external structure of the Eiffel Tower. I mean this, for example, this is the external structure, but as you know, the external structure of the Eiffel Tower has also an internal structure with lots of metallic oblique lines that are not as strong, and the problem is that it's very fragile. And here, for example, you can see that kind of a mixture inside, and it's an approximative realization. It's very difficult for the printer to make those oblique lines, and especially this, because here there's nothing here under this point, and the extruder has to build something in an oblique way, and since there is nothing under this point, it's not very precise. And this is exactly the same thing here. You can see the inner structure of the Eiffel Tower. It's sometimes there are lots of mistakes because it's hard to build. These are oblique metallic lines inside, and it seems hard to build because those oblique lines, they do not they do not start from something stable. So the realization is not as good as expected, and you can find in each step this kind of bizarre lines here, and there. The Eiffel Tower is far from perfect when you check it from this point of view, for example. So I'll be able to save it from my trash can. If I cut these lines, it won't be that difficult. And maybe I should apply on it a kind of a spray, I should paint it maybe, or put it in something something that has some reflection, a metallic material, metallic paint on it, so that it looks less fragile, you see. I'll check it if I can save it, but the problem is that this object is too complex and too small. I think that when you build a complex object like that, you've got to enlarge it so that the little structure in it are maybe easier to print. This is something here that is too difficult to print because it's too complex, and the resolution of the printer is mid-level resolution, so I'll try to see if I can save it.